Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Building Three Pillars. I'm your host, John Waters. Hope you guys had an awesome weekend. I hope you were able to get out there and capitalize on some of this nice non-snowy weather. At least that's the story out here in northern Kentucky, and I am enjoying it. All right. So hope you guys get the opportunity to spend the holidays with your family this week. And if not, I hope you're able to maintain good spirits as we look forward to the new year. So, as you guys may have guessed it, if you're watching this live, you saw the previous slide talking about no commitment, no change. All right. And I felt that that was pretty fitting because once we move past this Christmas part of the year, most of us start looking forward to the New Year's. We started figuring out what it is we intend to do, maybe depending on your situation, what kind of gatherings you're going to have or parties you're going to attend. But I also know there's a large portion of the population that is currently deciding what New Year's resolutions they want to work on, what things that they want to put into their lives this upcoming year that can hopefully give them a better outcome than this year has. All right. And so that's where that commitment is going to come into place. So, as usual, I like to start these things off with a quote. And today's quote comes from one of my favorite guys. His name is Les Brown. I've used his material before, but I felt that this was pretty fitting. All right. So he says, commitment means, among many things, no excuse is acceptable. Short and sweet, right? My question to you all is how many times are you going to hit snooze on your life? Hey. So, rain or snow. So, most of you by now know that I'm a personal trainer. One of the services that I provide is that I travel to my client's house. I bring, equipment out there with me, and I set up shop and put them through workout programs at their homes. And one of the bigger things that contributes to my success is getting out there on the road. Getting behind the wheel, driving, doing my thing, getting here and there, sitting in traffic, which has been unbelievable, by the way, because out here, one of the bigger bridges is shut down because of some fallout that happened probably a month ago now. But now we've all had to get much more creative out here in the northern Kentucky area as far as how we get to Cincinnati and get back home. All right, but that's neither here nor there. The real portion of this is rain or snow. So if you know me in real life, you know that I am not the person who enjoys driving in the snow, nor do I enjoy driving in the rain. All right, now a little bit of mist and a little bit of flurry isn't that bad. But I'm talking about when you can't see the white lines on the ground. I'm talking about the kind of rain where you can't see the freaking tail lights of the car in front of you. Those are not my favorite situations. Going into this, that was one of the things I had to be concerned about. I was like, well, what's going to happen when I'm doing this mobile service, which I call 3P Express, and the weather, isn't playing along. You know, inclement weather is, running havoc and causing all kinds of chaos. What is going to be my fallback, my go-to? Am I going to call off? Is that going to be the thing that sets me aside and causes me to have to, take a hit and miss out on the training season? And the answer became no, not at all. Because I have to have that level of commitment. For one, someone's expecting me to show up. I'm not going to let them down. I'm committed to them. Secondly, I'm committed to myself and the dream that I have. And third, and maybe most importantly, at least as being a father, I feel that, sticking to my word and doing the things I say I'm going to do and following up on my appointments and keeping my commitments is one of the better examples I can set for my daughter. And so I have a pretty strong reason, actually quite a few strong reasons to not give up or succumb to laziness or whatever the case may be when weather may come and, do things that are less than friendly. So that's my spill on rain or snow. Heading into this holiday season, heading into every winter, I'm always like, please don't let it snow. Please don't let it snow. And if it does snow, let it stay in the grass. We know that's not very realistic, but that's usually what I pray for. This year has been pretty good to us, not really having to worry too much about that so far. So far, knock on wood if you believe in that kind of thing. All right, so moving on, let's talk about some of the things that typically come up when people are looking forward to making, a change in their lives. They're looking to, put that New Year's resolution or that new vision into practice. They're looking to, reach that end state, reach that goal, whatever it is they want to put more of in their life. They're trying to figure out how to go about doing that. And I commend you on that. I commend you on actually taking that step. I don't think you guys need to be reminded of the statistics, however, that tell us that about 80% of people who begin or start out with New Year's resolutions and all the intention in the world of actually following through on those things, 80% don't succeed, 80% fall off, you know? And I can only guess that that's because they weren't properly motivated. They didn't have the proper amount of commitment to whatever it is they were working towards. Right. And so I'm hoping when we get done with this, like I mentioned before, excuse me, we can exclude ourselves from that 80%. All right. So before we keep going, one thing I want you to know and one thing I want you to consider and know that I believe about you, having not met you at all potentially, is that whatever it is you want, you can have it. Whatever goal you're trying to put into your life, you can make that happen. All right. It is definitely not out of reach. It may be far. It may be, slightly out of your comfort zone as far as how you're going to get there, but it's not out of your reach. You can definitely get there. But as we talked about before, most people just kind of want it. You can either make excuses or you can get results. However, there aren't going to be very many circumstances where you can do both. So let's talk about what keeps people from committing. Let's talk about why it took me a while to commit to the idea of going all in on my dream. It was that fear. Maybe you can relate to that. It was that fear of, the unknown, the fear of maybe not so much failure, but not succeeding at the level I was hoping to. And then it became the fear of what if I do succeed? What if I succeed as much as I want? How am I going to be able to handle that? All these other things came into play, things that are unfathomable now as I've moved past them. But I'm sure you may be dealing with some of those things on your own too. What happens when I get to this new weight that I want? Am I going to be able to maintain it? What happens if I, decide this year is my year and I'm going to move away from my home city or my hometown in the midst of COVID? Will it actually be something that I enjoy and that I actually look back on with pride? These are real thoughts. These are real fears. No matter what it is you're considering, there is going to be some kind of risk. That's just something we can't avoid. Every great win, every great trial, every great triumph came at the expense of there being some type of risk being involved. There's always the risk of failure. There's always that risk. All right. So one of the other things that may potentially keep people sidelined as far as making that commitment to themselves is self-doubt. Am I good enough? Do I measure up? Me being a personal trainer, my first day on the floor, I was uh, pretty confident in myself as far as what I read in the books and being able to, coach Marines and teach them things. However, I knew that there would be some kind of disconnect from teaching a Marine how to do something to teaching a civilian how to do something. In the Marine Corps, if someone outranks you, for the most part, you almost kind of have to listen. You almost kind of have to take their word as what it is. But in the civilian world, I wasn't quite sure if that's how it worked out. And that was definitely something that hindered me. I had to definitely struggle to get over that. Not so much that I doubted what I knew, but I was not quite sure how I would be able to relate to those I was trying to help. And I'm not sure what your self doubt is, what your limiting belief is about yourself. But, that's what that really is. It's a limiting belief, something that you have told yourself because you've seen it somewhere else, or maybe you just had too much time on your hands and just thought about all the worst case scenarios that could play out. But we all have those limiting beliefs. We all have those things that are blocking us from getting to that next level. Take the time to think about that once you get done with this podcast and or video if you're watching it. Take the time to think about that. What things are you telling yourself that are possibly keeping you from taking that next step? All right. And then lastly, the last thing that I put down, not saying that it's the last thing that there is, but environment. Maybe you're not in the right place right now. Maybe you have all the wrong people around you. Maybe you have a bunch of people who haven't really had the opportunity to go out there and try, or maybe they have no desire to try and they don't want you to leave them behind, as I've talked about in other podcasts. And so they may tell you things that may be well intentioned, but they're not, for you. They're not beneficial towards what it is you're wanting to accomplish. Maybe you're just in that place. And that can be tough. Environment can definitely be tough. All right. So I'm not going to, disregard those things and say that they don't matter. They do matter. But as always, one of the bigger things I like to talk about is how badly do you want it? All right, so let's move on from talking about that fear and all those things that could be holding us back and talk about some ways that we can commit to change. What are some practices that we could put into place today, well, starting today, that can help us move towards accomplishing our goals and going to that next level in life? All right, so One of my big tips for you guys, there's three of them, that's my number. Visualize, 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 visualize. So why do I say this? And what exactly do I mean when I tell you to visualize? So one of the things that I found helpful when I was beginning on my journey, I'm pretty sure I've told you guys this story before, but maybe I haven't. I used to sit down on the bed and not so much meditate like I was listening to music, but I used to do guided meditations. And one of the guided meditations that I listened to used to run you through the scenario where you would pick out that perfect end state, whatever you were aiming for in life, pick it out, and play an active role in that. Imagine all the people that are there. Imagine, the noises, the scenes, how you feel in that particular moment, how the people around you are reacting, how your family feels to see you accomplish that goal. I mean, and if your family isn't a part of your dream, then how do you feel when you accomplish that goal? All the pride, all the emotions, let that be there. And, immerse yourself in that. So whatever we put emotion to, we start to develop that strong will towards. So pick out that strong why that we always talk about. That why are you doing this? Pick that out, put that in your story, and become immersed in the feelings you have once you accomplish that. I was reading and or listening to, now that I think about it, I was listening to someone talk about developing a strong why. And they said that, once you actually have it, just the thought of it can make you get emotional yourself. And so if this thing doesn't make you get emotional, overjoyed, maybe have tears in your eyes, or, whatever it is you do, maybe you're too, masculine to have tears in your eyes. I don't really know. But once you get that feeling, you'll know what I'm talking about. Figure that out. Figure out why you need to do that. Figure out why this goal is important enough for you to risk it all, as far as putting aside the things that are no longer serving you in order to have more of the things that you want in your life. All right, so visualize that. And remember, this visualization shouldn't just be like you're watching from the sidelines. You should be an active participant in this. So when you're looking down, you should see your hands, not be looking at you, look at your hands. All right, remember, you are the director, you're also the star. All right, so yeah, visualize. Next, what do we have? Yeah, hype yourself up. Tip two, hype yourself up. So this is pretty big. Um, let's take it back a minute and go back to the gym scene. The gym scene, excuse me. I remember before I was a personal trainer, I used to go into the gym, and one of the things I used to tell myself, especially if I was feeling self-conscious, maybe there were a bunch of freaking small hulks in the gym at that time, but whatever the case was, I would always look around the gym and not so much compare myself to them, but I would tell myself in my head, all these people here have no idea what they're doing. I'm here to show them how it's done. That was just one of the things I used to tell myself. Um, maybe your particular, empowering statement won't be that, but whatever it is you need to tell yourself to get pumped up. One of the other things I used to love telling myself, back when I was in Georgia, I used to always have this beast mode mentality. Whenever I was about to do something that was a little bit outside of my comfort zone, regular waters couldn't handle that. I had to go into beast mode to get it done. And I was kind of obsessed with saying this. You know, along with my, fuck it button that I used to like to press religiously, beast mode was a part of that. That was like what the fuck it button triggered. But anyways, you have to figure out, how to apply your why to this. Remember why you're doing this. That should fire you up, if nothing else. That should get you ready to take care of whatever business it is you need to handle. Whether that's going into the office and letting your boss know, or maybe video conferencing your boss now, but let them know, like, hey man, it's been nice working with you. I appreciate everything you've done, but now it's time I step back and do what I got to do. Maybe it won't come out quite like that, but your intention can be just as intense. Obviously, do it with some respect, or maybe you had enough. You're past the point of being respectful, but whatever it is you need to do to alleviate yourself from the feeling of being inadequate in order to elevate yourself into the feeling of being on top of the world, you need to do that. You got to always know how to trigger your excitement. Get ready, get pumped, because there's going to be times once you make this commitment to actually go forth and do whatever it is you really want to do that you're going to have bad days. There's going to be times where that self-doubt creeps up in your mind, and you're going to feel like, dang, like maybe I'm not enough. Maybe the thing I want to do is just outside of my reach. Whatever that crazy thing is that comes into your mind, you have to have a way to switch that. You have to have a way to go to the polar opposite of that and say, you know what? Yeah, maybe that could be true, but that's just not true for me. I'm better than that. I am the man and or woman that's going to accomplish this. I am the person that's adequately equipped to handle whatever situation comes my way. Whatever it is you got to tell yourself that. Because at the end of the day, your success rides on your beliefs. All right. And so it may be helpful for you to come up with some empowering statements. As I told you before about my looking around the gym thing, that was mine. Maybe yours be different. Maybe you need to borrow beast mode. Maybe you need to tell yourself, hey, I got this. Whatever it is, get pumped, get excited, listen to music, and not that sad music that makes you feel like the world is falling down in your head. Get pumped up like you're about to go to the club, but channel that excitement and that energy in a different way. All right. So hype yourself up. That's my second tip. And the third one, never back down. All right. So this pretty much ties into the first two. After you get done visualizing, after you get done hyping yourself up, some days you're going to need to do a check. You're going to be like, oh, crap. This next thing is pretty big, but the big question, as always, is how bad do you want it? How important is it to you to push past this in order to have what it is you say you want? Because if you don't get it, yeah, you may be able to kick it with your friends. You may be able to go back to those same people who were back there doing nothing or doing the same thing. And now you're all just singing the "Oh, woe is me" song. But I guarantee that's not really what you want. You may be able to go back to sitting on a couch, and stuffing your face full of cookies every day. And maybe you'll feel good for a moment. But a year down the line, when you're twice the size that you are now, or your health conditions have, gotten significantly worse, you're going to wish you had started today and not given up. And not even looking at it from a negative aspect. But we don't back down because we know where we came from. We know that before we got to this point, we faced other obstacles that at that point in time may have seemed impossible to conquer. But we've proven time and time again that we're capable. And so we can't back down from this small thing. We can't back down from this thing that may seem, insurmountable at the moment. It's really just a small hill, a small step on the way to greater things. You should honor it and you respect it, but tell it to get the hell out of your way. You got things to do. So we don't back down. And on these days when backing down seems like, it's getting the best of you, maybe you need to step back and revisit steps 1 and 2. You need to revisualize, get your emotions back involved. Imagine how good you're going to feel once you actually accomplish and conquer whatever it is you're working on. And then you need to hype yourself up and remember all the great things you've done so far. So, you got to learn how to be your biggest cheerleader. Like, this is one thing I've had to take on the chin and really manifest and absorb. Because, yes, I have been fortunate enough to meet some great people who will apply the things I do. But they're not always there when I'm struggling. They're not always there when I'm walking into a situation that I'm unfamiliar with. And now I got to get myself ready. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to a client's house, you're not always going to be committed. Sometimes you're going to be like, dang, it'd just be easier to tell them, hey, I can't make it. When you got to go outside and scrape your car off and get that snow out of the way so you can make it to work, it may seem a little bit easier to call in. But you need those lights turned on. You need to make sure you got a car. So you're going to get your butt out there and get it done. You need to be just as aggressive when it comes to accomplishing whatever it is you have your heart set on for 2021. And use this same type of energy when 2022 gets here. Always look forward. Always keep moving forward. It won't be easy. I guarantee it won't be easy. But on the other end of that, I can also guarantee that it will be worth it. All right. So again, my 3 tips: visualize, hype yourself up, never back down. Whew. All right. So my last thought for you guys before I get out of here: it will be tempting to give up on your goals and dreams, especially on the days that you're tired, frustrated, or just feeling beat down. But don't give up. You are more than capable. We are more than amazing. We are whatever we truly believe ourselves to be. With this in mind, why not believe that you are anything less than blessed? All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Hope you got something out of it. If you enjoyed the show, please follow me on Facebook. My name is John Waters. I have the tagline of Unlock Your Greatness. You can follow the business page on Facebook at 3 Pillars Fitness LLC. You can also follow us on Instagram. My name on Instagram is _3P Fitness. The business page on Instagram is just 3 Pillars MBS. All right. We also have the website up. I would appreciate if you guys go and check it out. Let me know what you think. You can also find the podcast there too, if you're not someone who's following the podcast on any of the other channels. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys have a great week. Hope you guys have an awesome holiday time, and hope you get the opportunity to spend time with your family. And as we're moving forward into next week and we're trying to figure out what it is we want to do, commit to that. Use this week to write it out. Use this week to start generating those emotions that are going to allow you to have the energy and the juice to push forward when those hard times come, because they're definitely coming. All right. That's all I have for you guys. As always, keep pushing,